Hey everybody, it's Becky. I just have a design team project for Craftsupplies1 to show you guys. And also this is in video response to Faythchik777, Linda's Spool challenge. I'm not quite sure the rules because I forgot to look when I come up to do this video. So I know that she's got two styles. The first one, I think you're supposed to make two spools, and they're supposed to have like your favorite laces, and it's supposed to be something that sits on your desk. And then there's the second style, which I did, which is inspired by Shoe Princess 1. She did a design team project for the piece by piece, and she did a double rosette spool, and so I thought that was really cute. So I was actually doing this when I found out about Linda's challenge. I was just doing the insides of my rosettes, and I'm like, I didn't know you was doing this, so I'm gonna enter mine into the challenge. So the second style, you're supposed to use a stick pin, and you're supposed to use the color cream and a clock. And I believe that's everything, but I will post the link to her challenge video below, and I think you have till November 1st to enter. So I'll go ahead and post the link, and I think I'm correct on the deadline. So I made this spool actually for Marla Rizzo. We're doing a swap together, and it's a muffin tin swap, and then a couple of surprise goodies. And the reason why I wanted to do this is I thought it would be really cute to do a spool and a muffin tin together, and I think it was Creative Curiosities that did a spool and a muffin tin together, and I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. So that's kind of where I got my idea from. And then again, this is inspired by Shoe Princess 1. So I'll just kind of go over it a little bit. Let me just tell you how I made it. Hopefully my camera doesn't like start to freak out and try to zoom and stuff. I don't know. It's been trying to do that. So how I made mine's made from scratch. I used a toilet paper roll in the middle, and when I unravel it, I'll show you. I just covered it in paper, and then I put this trim at the top and bottom, this pearl trim, and that's from Craftsupplies1. These circles, because I don't have a die punch or cut, that cuts circles perfectly, and I had some smaller circles cut, and my rosettes were too puffy, and it made it look funny. So there was another video response, and I don't recall who it is, and I'm sorry, but she used CDs, and so I thought, oh, that's a good idea. And so I got two CDs that were junk. I don't know. I was saving them. I don't know why. It's like they're going to fix themselves. And so I'm actually glad I did, because I just cut out, I took and traced the circle, and I cut it out and distressed the papers on the edges, and then I used my chalk ink. This one is the pastel blue, and I just went around the edges. And this is the paper. Oh, the paper that I used was the Prima Delight. So I have this paper on the bottom, and then this paper on the top. And my stick pins don't like to stay in and hold it, and I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So let me just push that in there. Hopefully I'll hold it for a few more minutes. So let's see. And then the top that I used blossom treated ink around the edges. And then again, I used the pearl trim from Craftsupplies1. Let me just try to zoom this in a little bit so I don't have to move it too much. And then what I did is these are those little like wood pieces from Michael's. The little letters people were getting them for like 35 cents. So I got a bag of them, and there's the word love in it. And so I gessoed it, and then I used my embossing ink, and I just, stamped it in the pad. And then I used the Tattered Rose embossing powder and the vintage photo. And I used the Tattered Rose, I did the whole thing, and then I went over the top and just the bottom I don't know, you can't really see it, with the vintage photo. And while it was still warm, I just took my finger and kind of went over it and just to kind of, I don't know, you can't really see it anymore, but it rubbed a lot of it out. And then I was watching a video that's Creations by Song, and she was doing a configuration box, and she was using like modeling paste on the ends and some puffy paint, you know, just kind of add the dimension. But I don't have any puffy paint, so I thought, oh, that's a good idea to use modeling paste on the edges. So that's what I did, and then I just kind of brought it around. So that's what I did, like all around the edges and on the inside of the letters. And then I embossed the clock, and then this filigree is from Craftsupplies1, and then that's a Prima clock and a Prima hand and a Prima brad, and then that's a Prima Roman numeral and another clock hand. And I embossed all of them with the tattered rose and a little bit of the vintage photos, you can kind of see right there. But I rubbed a lot more off so metal would show through, so it was just kind of like really sparse, or you know, like right there you can see where it's just tiny bit. And then I used the modeling paste on the clock, and then I used my white chalk ink in the middle. This was like all vintage photo brown, and so I didn't really like it. I was trying to get it to kind of stand out because everything kind of blended together after I had it done, and so I just kind of went over it here and there with some white. And then on this one I used teal damask and pastel blue and the white, just to kind of get it just to pop out, because I didn't want everything to like blend. So that's what I did. And there's a clock hand there underneath the Roman numeral. And then here is some flowers from Craftsupplies1. These are the new ones. And I used them on that little gift bag, but these are really cute. They're like daisies, and they got the bark centers. And then this is a blue two-tone half-inch flower. And then these are the fabric flowers that are like a pinky peach. And I, again, went over everything. I kind of dabbed modeling paste on top of everything. And then right here is a little clothespin, and I think I got this. I don't remember if it was from Marla, which is Echo 92503, or if it was from Becky Long. I think it was from Marla, but anyways, thank you. And I embossed that as well and went over it with the modeling paste. Just dabbed it on with my stencil brush, the little daubers. And then here is some lace from Craftsupplies1, and these are like the little flowers. I don't have any right here, but I have this card that I used it on, and it's this kind that I used around the edge of the card. And so I just cut two little flowers off, and I stuck some there, and I put some there. And then this is just some lace from my stash. And like little, you know, pieces, scrap pieces, I just stuck in there because I thought it was cute. And then this is just a little rosebud from my stash, and then this is another lace and another lace, just scraps from my stash. This is like a dark peach and cream two-tone, I think this is a 3/4 inch flower, and they're really cute and I like them. And then these are the calla lilies, the small ones. And then there's another blue two-tone rose. And then these, they're kind of pink, but they've got like a hint of peach to them. So it's not quite like the baby pink that I've gotten before. And they're the half-inch flowers. And then these are pearl sprays from Craftsupplies1. And then this is a little rolled rose from my stash. And then again, I went over everything with the modeling paste, just kind of pounced on it. And I like the texture that it gave it. And then there's some rosebuds from my stash, and then rolled rose from my stash. And then right here, what I did is I just ripped a piece of paper and I glued it down. And then I put this clothespin, or not a clothespin, it's like a safety pin, the Tim Holtz ones, through it. And I got that idea from Miranda, which is Miss Liberty 25, and I thought it was cute. I actually did this before I put the love letter down. And I kind of, had it open to show like this fan design and this like half clock right there. And then I stuck a rose button. It's actually a little button, and I just stuck that in the middle there. And then here on the back, Bridget, which is Shoe Princess 1, she has this like satin lace, ribbon, and it's from the Piece by Piece, and it's really pretty. And so that's actually, I bought that and the white one to kind of, I was going to use both of them on the project, but then I decided not to. So I just used that for my bow, because I think she did the same thing, and I thought it was really cute. But mine look like it has ears, so I don't know. Underneath it, I have webbing, and I got this from Sky Blue Pink. So that's what I just tied it in a bow, and I stuck it behind the word, my love word. And actually, why I did that, it's right here. I have little braces. And I glued the word down with E6000, but it wasn't staying. It was like falling back. So I had to make like these little braces out of chipboard. And I covered it one side with paper, and then this side is just some washi tape. And I've tried to just cover it up. I just didn't want it to like stand out too much. So, and then I stuck a little rose from my stash there. And then there's the other piece of the paper right here that's ripped. I ripped it again right here just to kind of show this flower because I didn't want it covered up. I don't know if I told you guys I used the Prima Delight. I don't remember because I've had to do this video a couple of times. So yeah, I did that. And then this is some lace from my stash, and I actually used it on the inside of the rosette, and I'll show you guys. I just kind of cut it and placed it in there. This is all one piece, and then this is another piece, another scrap from my stash, and this is the Recollections button, and then this is just some bling I stuck on there, and this is a teal and like paper, this porcelain and paper rose from Craftsupplies1. And this is another daisy, the white one that's on the front. I actually sprayed it with cotton candy pink and then used the modeling paste on top. This is a flower from my stash. And then those little sprays that come and they're already in the circle, like already shaped in the circle, and then they got the 3 sprigs. I cut that off there and stuck those in there. And then this is a flower from my stash. And then these are the pearl sprays from Craftsupplies1, like what I used on the front. And I just stuck them in there. And that's just a little coil and a little key lock from my stash and a little light bulb I've just stuck in there. And then there's a calla lily from Craftsupplies1. And there's some more of that rose or flower trim from Craftsupplies1, and it's the cream. So there's my cream, and I forgot, there's my clock. And then here's another 2-tone flower, like I have on the front. I just stuck back in there. And there's the other brace that's holding my love word up. It's pretty sturdy now, like since all the glue's dried. Like you could pick it up by the word and it's not going to go anywhere. So let me go ahead and show you guys the front. Okay, so here's the stick pins that I'm using. This is a flower bead from Craftsupplies1, and then these are all just beads from my stash that I put on there. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. And then here's another one. These are all just beads from my stash, but I did use a charm, like a charm thing on the stick pin that I could hang this Eiffel Tower, and this is from Craftsupplies1, and I actually embossed this too. And I just used the tattered rose on this one. I didn't use any vintage photos, so I thought that was really cute for my stick pin, and I'm trying to use this to keep them closed, so hopefully it works. And let me unroll this. So this is, I used some rosettes that I just had in my stash, and then here is the inside paper. And then here's the beaded trim from Craftsupplies1, and that's pretty much all I did. I glued the rosettes down with some beacon Faythchik. So that's what's holding these to the toilet paper roll. So let me just kind of zoom out again really quick, sorry. So that's my roll, you know, without the rosettes rolled around it. There's the front, really pretty paper. Okay, so here is my rosettes. Let me kind of zoom it in, maybe. I hate my tripod, it's so stiff and jerky. So here is the inside, and what I did, let me grab the lace really quick. Oops, sorry. I actually only have like a little bit left, but this is the lace that I used on the pink one on the inside. So that's the first layer, and then is that one. And then the second layer is this, and this is just from my stash. And this goes all the way down. I put it over the pink. And then, as you can see, and we'll just kind of, you'll see it as we go along too. So here, let me just start back over here. This is just a bow, and Julie is actually carrying bow trim in her store, but this is just for my stash. And I put a flower from Craftsupplies1, and what I did is I put glossy accents over it, so it's kind of stiff and shiny and pretty. And then I hung these little keys from it. I think I just put it through the little bow on a jump ring, sorry. And then over here, what I did throughout the whole thing, over the top, is I put these little pink bling centers. And then I think I also just put some little pearls like that. So that's what I did. And then right here is a rosette, and I just put some eyelash trim, and I just glued it to the bottom of the rosette. And then I put this butterfly with some pearl trim from my stash, and I just squished it together. And what I did with this butterfly, I actually got this from Marla, and they're little clips. It's glued on there now, so it won't come off. But I sprayed it with my Lindy's, which is cotton candy pink, my mojito green, and a little bit of frosted forget-me-nots. I gessoed it first, obviously, and then I sprayed it with those and let it dry. So I thought it'd come out kind of pretty cool, and I glued it to the rosette. And then there's some more of that bling and a pearl. And then right here is a feather and some trim from my stash, and then a resin bird I put right there. And then there's another pearl and bling. And then this is these are the Scrabble tiles, and I just went over it with my chalk edgers, the blossom tree and pastel blue and the teal damask, and I put some crackle, the crackle glossy accents over the top of those, and it's for Marla, so Marla Rizzo. And then this is a handmade flower, and I just used some material and a doily and some of that eyelash trim and a flower button. And then there's another stick pin. It's just a little bead, and I just stuck it in there. and then because I wasn't sure if I was gonna close it with stick pins or not, so that's why the stick pins are there, just to meet the requirements. And then there's some more pearl bling, and then this is some trim from my stash. I just kind of cut, this is one piece I cut, and then this is a flower, you know, from that piece, and I just glued it over there. And then this is a bird cage, I think I got from Becky Long. Thank you, Becky. And then this is I think it was just a scrap. I don't think it's from Craftsupplies1, but I just kind of rolled it around kind of like a fan and glued it there, and then glued those things on top. And then some more pearl and bling. And then this is some more trim from my stash I just stuck behind that window, and it's a resin, Prima resin window. And then this word beautiful is from my stash from Saw Crafters, and I just put some little pearls over the holes. And I actually gessoed this, and then I sprayed it with my Lindy's, the same colors as the butterfly, and it bubbled, and so it kind of gave it a cool effect. And I think that's all I did to it. Yeah, that is. And then there's another bling. And then here is like a flower trim that from my stash, and it actually has this pearl flower in the middle of it. But I took it off and glued it on the top of this cameo. And that's from my stash. And then there's some more pearl, and then this is a metal corner. And then on the other side, the only thing I did was just glue pearls, pearl beads, the glass ones, in the middle of all the rosettes. So that's all I did on that. And then on the blue, let's see, what I did is this lace is from my stash. And then this one is from Craftsupplies1. So I glued this one down, and I put this, you know, over the top, all the way down. Let me just go ahead and show you. So the trim is just from Craftsupplies1. It's just this right there, and it just goes over the top. And then so here is the same trim that I used on the top, but I just cut the flowers and put pearls in. And then this is a little, I think this is a Melissa Francis. Let me see if I can bring this in just a little bit. Sorry, guys. This is just a little resin frame, and I think it's a Melissa Francis. And then this little metal flower I got from Becky Long. Thank you, Becky. And there's another flower. I actually had it all glued down underneath the frame. And then these are bling squares. I'm not sure if these are from Craftsupplies1. I think I got this from Marla in our altered domino swap, but Craftsupplies1 has circles that are like flower centers, really pretty. They're like this, but they're circles. So go head on over there and check those out because they're really pretty. I like them. I got some, and I'm trying to use them up. And then this is just some lace from my stash I just stuck under there, just kind of give it some different color, some green. And then there's some blue flowers that I put the crackle glossy accents on. So I don't know if it's really picking it up, but it's got little cracks in it. It's so cute. And these are some rolled roses from my stash. I don't know. I don't know if I mentioned these are from Craftsupplies1. These are a 1/2 inch blue two-tone. And then this is the word cherish that I got from Becky Long. And I actually gessoed it and used my chalk ink over the top. And I didn't like it. So I tried to rub off the gesso because it wasn't really sticking and it was bubbling. And I didn't really like it, so I ended up rubbing it off. But it left a little bit on the bottom. And I thought that was kind of cool, so I left that. And then this is a little locket and key. And I don't know where this one is from because it was just in my stuff. So I don't know if it's from, I don't think it's from Craftsupplies1 because I haven't seen any like that. But it's really cute. Some of my stuff got mixed up. My baby, my 2-year-old, coming through my bead box down off my table. So everything got mixed up. I also used some of that Faded Jean distressing from Tim Holtz over the top, and I painted it with gesso. And then there's a halfback pearl that I got off some buttons. And then this is a Prima trinket. And then this little thing I just made, I actually took off the trim that was tied to this, and I put some green seam binding on it. And then this is a little charm that I made, and it says made with love. And I hung that from there. And then this is a flower that I made. This is my rolled rose, Marla. She was making, or she made some rolled roses for or did it on a project, and I'm like, you're gonna laugh when you see mine. It's not that great. I just rolled it with some like white cotton fabric that I had, and then I sprayed it a little bit with the frosted forget-me-nots, and I went over it a little bit with the Prima chalk ink, the blossom tree, and a little bit of the white chalk ink. And then underneath I glued some eyelash trim, and this is like just a crochet doily. And this bling centers from Craftsupplies1. And then this stick pin, these beads are from my stash, and this one is from Craftsupplies1. And I just have it, you know, with my little pearl head pin. And then there's some more bling. And this is some trim from my stash and metal pieces from Becky Long. And I just went over them a little bit with some gesso and a little bit of white chalk ink. And then I just put a little pearl. And then this little thing says always. So it's supposed to be like cherish always. Sorry, I'm moving too fast. And then there's some more bling. And then there's some more of that trim from my stash. I just cut it out and stuck it in there. And this bicycle is from Craftsupplies1. And I just stuck that flower from that other flower off the other one. I have another one, and I just cut the top of it off and put that there. And another little pearl on the other wheel. And then right here, this little metal piece is metal squares from Craftsupplies1, and I just put a feather behind it, and I glued a Prima button, and I put some just string from my stash. And then this is another metal piece. So that's, and then I did the same thing. I glued the pearls in the middle of the rosettes. So that is my altered spool, and so I hope you guys like it. Make sure you head on over to Craftsupplies1 and check out her store. She's always getting new stuff. And I hope most of all that Marla really likes this. I was a little stressed out making it because things, I don't know, like I just lost my mojo. I don't know what happened. Let me move this back out. I don't know what happened, but I'm kind of glad Linda's doing this challenge because I've gotten to see what other people kind of come up with just to kind of get the juices flowing a little bit, because there for a minute I was stuck. And let me just roll this up really quick and I'll show you guys again the whole overview. Sorry. So that is my, oops, let me just move it back. My camera's so weird. So that is my altered spool, and just let me know questions, comments, or anything, leave them below, and I'll post the link to Linda's challenge and also the links to the store. Make sure you head on over and check out Craftsupplies1. I'll talk to you guys later.